I am now 22 years old. I've been fascinated with the paranormal almost all my life. Have many stories to tell, but let me start with my first. This happened when I was 18. Me and my ex-girlfriend at the time decided to visit an old beat-down cemetery in the middle of nowhere, nicknamed the Gates of Hell. The ride there was fine. You go down a road named St. John's Road, about 20 miles until reaching an old, worn-down gravel road that's messed up in itself. No lights anywhere around, or no cell service whatsoever. After a while, we made it to the cemetery. We parked and I kept trying to talk her into getting out. She said no. Even any guy friend I brought said no. So, it didn't shock me. The vibes were definitely off that night. After about 5 minutes of telling ghost stories to her, she decides to get out only if I held her hand the whole time. We got out, and I did. It was very dark, very creepy, but nothing out of the ordinary. Until we got back in my truck. Right then, she started acting weird. I was talking to her normal, but she was talking in a way I never heard her talk, saying things I've never heard. Time goes on and she reaches for a big hunting knife I had and takes it out of the case and puts it very hard to my forehead. That's when I kind of freaked out. I took it from her and held onto it. Then I tried scaring her. She was a very timid person, 5'1", 100 pounds. She was a small girl and she was scared of her shadow. Everything I did, she laughed this creepiest laugh, started repeating many things over and over again. So I decided to leave. Wish it ended there. As soon as I put my truck in park, she starts freaking out, repeating more things over and over to me. So I replay calmly that I was just turning the truck around for when we do leave. So I turn around and face the exit with my lights on, the old gravel road. I park and it gets crazier. She starts trying to get closer to me and repeats herself more. When it gets to the point that she says, "They want you too. They want you too. They want you too," multiple times. I look out my window and see something I cannot even describe, almost running towards me. I take off down the gravel road, trying to dodge trees, get away from the bumps. She's literally all over my truck. Her back is up against the top. Her arms are almost being broken, it looks like. She's screaming in ways I've never heard. Then I look over. Her eyes, they're not black, but almost glowing red. This went on for the next 20 minutes until I got to a gas station. I immediately called my friend and told him. She looks over and looks like she just woke up, asked what happened, and seemed like she had no memory of the event. This took place over a few hours. No drugs involved. I'm just not sure how to explain what happened. Tell me what you guys think. First time posting. I don't often talk about when weird stuff happens around me. I find when I do, the frequency of the occurrences increase. And that isn't fun. But this latest event was unnerving, and I just want to get it off my chest. My house is one of those old houses in Chicago, built in the 1800s for workers, probably the meatpacking industry. It's so old and the pillars supporting the house are literally tree trunks. Everything creaks. The wood floors are so noisy that they wake up the baby, even if one of us walks by her bedroom. It is a bit run down, but it's generally a warm and happy home. We've lived here almost 4 years. That being said, there are still occasionally loud, terrifying, thumping noises with no explanation, and random uncomfortable feelings or events. 2 mornings ago was the worst event I have had experience. It was one of my days off, and my wife had taken the baby out for a walk with her friend. That meant I could go back to bed, play games on my phone, and take a little nap. As I finally ready to drift off, one of the baby's electronics toys went off in the living room. It is one of those tiny tables that has a bunch of buttons and things to press, then plays little sounds and songs. It has maybe 20 buttons. So it goes off and I try to ignore it, telling myself that one of the cats bumped it. I know they didn't, because they are noisy little chunks. But I like to pretend these things away. A minute later, the damn table makes a different noise. Different noise, different button. I continue to ignore it and try to fall asleep, but sleep quickly becomes impossible. These sounds keep coming at random intervals, as if trying to get me to respond. But I'm good at this game, and I pretend like I don't even hear it. After maybe 15 minutes, it seems like things have calmed down. My nap, though, is not going to happen. The things got to me. At that point, I was freaked out enough that I let my mask slip and pulled the sheets over my head like I was 7 years old again. Immediately, and I mean the moment after I had the sheets over my head, the table starts up again. Only this time, it's not just a button being pressed. A button was being held down, the sound repeating over and over again. I bunkered down and ignored it, figuring I could wait this out like I did the others. Those times, it stopped fairly quickly. Not this time, though. It goes on for more than a minute. I debate trying to wait it out, but I don't want my family to come home and find me cowering under a sheet while our daughter's toys mocks me from another room. Not because I care about seeming brave. My wife knows who I am. I just didn't want whatever it was able to feed off their reactions as well as mine. So I get up, calmly walk to the living room, turn the toy off, and return to my bed to cower under my blankets until my wife comes home to rescue me. I'm just glad the thing hasn't turned itself back on. I've never thought I would be posting this on Reddit. I thought about making a YouTube video with all the crazy stories I've experienced in my old home. I probably still should. It may sound like I made it all up, but I wish my imagination was that wild. Before I begin to say anything, I'm not going to disclose exactly whereabouts I grew up, as it was a government-related housing and I don't want to put any bad reputation on the area. The complex was built on a top of a graveyard that was moved to a different location once Dubai started getting more popular. Already a strange place for families to live in, but okay, nonetheless. I've myself seen and experienced these paranormal encounters as well as my other family members and even some neighbors. Story 1. Face in the dark. We used to have random blackouts in the complex. The whole building would not have electricity for a few minutes, and it was usually during nighttime, so it used to be quite scary for someone around 9 years old. I remember this like it was yesterday. I was in my dad's room. He was watching the news and I was playing with some Barbie dolls on the bed. The lights went off. The TV went off. pitch black. I grabbed my little Nokia phone and started filming a video with flashlight on. My parents left the apartment and stood outside. I filmed a bit of the apartment and then proceeded to go out with my family. Everything was fine within a few minutes, and I went to watch the video. I started watching it, and it was just me walking through the hall into the living room, and then turning the camera around to face me so I can show my reaction. I remember feeling sick to my stomach because when I turned the camera around, there was a glimpse of a perfectly symmetrical, pale face without any expression. The eyes are not visible since it's dark, but the light from the phone gave it a vivid outline, just so you could see the basic features. The face was emotionless, pale, and appeared only for a split second. I couldn't believe it. I started panicking and showing it to my family, but they so badly wanted to believe that it was a glitch, or maybe that I filmed them by mistake, but we all knew. We even paused at the perfect moment when my face was perfectly in the middle, and you could see the lips and nose perfectly. Well, my mom deleted the video, and we never spoke of it again. But I will never forget that face. Ever. Story 2. Man outside my bedroom window. Story 3. My mom was either sleepwalking or possessed. Story 4. I think I'm going to save these for another time. My phone is glitching really bad right now. At night, we can often hear footsteps upstairs, as though someone is walking around from room to room. We have a brick-built house of so solid walls, and there is 100% no sign of anything under any floorboards or in the attic. We've not had the heating on for months, so no expansion of pipework, etc. I am not too knowledgeable on the spirit world, but do you think this is my grandma? This was her house, and we bought it off the family after she passed away. We truly believe it to be her walking around and having a look at how we have decorated, renovated, etc. I just want to know if I'm being daft, or is there anything I can do to make her feel more comfortable? I don't mind her being here. I just want to know her presence is meant in a good way, and that she's not mad at us.